Things considered, I think we might have to consider some sort of temporary working relationship.
Such a iconic voice that you're tuned in to today, right now. Not a voice I ever thought I'll have the owner of that voice sitting here in person. Huge fan of his work, not just as an actor, as a singer, songwriter, as well. As an idol, a man who's lived a life that most young men dream of. DB, run down the litany of work that he's done.
Well, I never thought that I would get a chance to meet him in person because my mother used to let me watch, for whatever reason, used to let me watch Miami Vice when I was a little kid. And I was sitting in front of the TV watching these booties jiggling and the Jan Hammer theme song playing, and I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I like it. And then when we first saw that pilot episode with the Phil Collins in the air tonight, it's like one of the most iconic scenes in television history. I was hooked after that. I've seen every episode, and a lot of people can say that they're fans of Miami Vice, but not everybody can say that they own a shirt that was only given to cast and crew who worked on the series.
Wow, DB, you next level.
Yes.
Yo,
I think I made that up for everybody.
Yeah.
Really?
I made that up and gave it as a gift.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
You designed that shirt?
They did one for
Well,
every season.
I don't know. I probably stole it from our own design. But I thought of it. I mean, it's the same damn thing.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, and I mean, we had Jimmy Smits here, who was your first partner that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, Jimmy Smits. We blew him up in the first
In about
2
5
scenes.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Jimmy. Boom. Bye.
I mean, Miami Vice, we could go all day about that, but also Nash Bridges, where you reunited with Philip Michael Thomas in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
Philip and Tommy Chong.
Right, exactly, together. And I also have to give credit to your daughter, Dakota, because she's an incredible actress as well, from 50 Shades of Grey. I recently saw her in Peanut Butter Falcon, which she was amazing in. But we're here to talk about his new film, Knives Out, which is in theaters November 27th. Please welcome James Sonny Crockett, known as Don Jonson.
Hey, thank you so much, DB. Thank you, Say.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate y'all so much.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
That interview's done after that, man. That was amazing, man.
Thanks so much. See y'all later.
Okay. Welcome to Sway in the Morning, Don. You know, you see people on the big screen, and you really don't know what their lives are like or how they got to where they are. And I was reading up on you, and you didn't grow up with a silver spoon to get to this point,
no,
right?
brother, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I grew up. I grew up poor.
Okay.
With a capital P, poor, and from an early age, all I could think about was, I know one thing. I know that I am not going to be in Missouri or Kansas. I'm going to be in California.
Okay.
And all I had to do was see the Beach Blanket Bingo movies, and I was sold. You know, talking about the jiggling booties. Yeah. Well, you're a healthy young man.
Thank
you. You get it, and so did I.
That's good for you.
Yeah, it's real good for you.
And so you moved to L.A.
I did. Actually, I got hired out of the University of Kansas when I was about 17. I was 18 years old, and for the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco.
Okay.
And so I went out there and I trained 8 hours a day, and then at night they gave me an actor's equity contract. Man, in 1968, I was making $150 a week. That was like a fortune.
Yeah.
For an 18-year-old kid in San Francisco, and doing what I love to do, and doing shows at night and stuff like that, and then studying all day, 8 hours a day in the conservatory. It was like an intensive course on being an actor, and I'm so grateful that I got that opportunity, because it set me up for
who you are today, right?
Yeah, man.
Don Jonson, ladies and gentlemen. When I think of Miami Vice, too, I think, because I know you did Django Unchained, too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Miami Vice, the movie with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx.
Right, the remake.
The remake. And then you and Jamie worked on Django Unchained.
On Django Unchained. Yeah, we talked about it, you know, and I was telling him, that thing kind of got away from him a little bit, you know, and I think Michael had an idea that he wanted to take ownership of the show in his own way, and unfortunately, I think he misread the nature of how strong Sonny Crockett's identity and relationship to the show is with the people and the fans.
Yeah.
And I have a way to kind of fix that and solve it so that and we Vin Diesel is now involved in the whole process, and he and I have been kicking around some ideas. So we'll see what happens.
We're about to do another movie.
Yeah, you never know. You
Oh,
never know.
So casual.
Wow.
let's just say it now.
I wish I could, but I can't.
He said you never know.
Right.
You never know.
Are you married now?
I am.
Yes.
Yes, man, I'm married.
Yes.
Ow, marriage is sexy too.
No, I didn't know you don't wear the ring. Like, I didn't see the ring. I didn't know something happened. I knew you were married.
Well, you got to keep your options open, too. I'm just kidding.
We love him.
I'm just kidding.
So you don't feel. I just find it fascinating that you once dated Barbara.
Oh, Barbara, man, she's
Barbara
is a
Streisand,
force.
by the way, guys.
She's a force. Yeah, I sang with her too, and that was an unbelievable experience. I told her at the time, I said, your music isn't really my jam, and she said, why do you care? I'm Barbara Streisand.
I'm dead.
I said, you got a point there.
So what kind of music were you listening to?
Well, I wasn't listening to Barbara, I'll tell you that.
But did you write for her? Did you write for her?
No.
Okay.
I wrote for the Allman Brothers Band.
Okay.
I wrote with Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers Band, and I was writing my own stuff, and I recorded a couple of records that went platinum and albums that went platinum.
You hear
and
that?
stuff.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like somebody asked me this morning if you were a rock star, and I said, well, I was rock star light. I put out the music, but I didn't have time to tour, and I couldn't do both careers. So you got to make a choice, and so now I just play with my sons, Jesse Jonson, who just dropped a record called "Break Me Out of My Head," which is a great kind of. It's kind of a nostalgic throwback to '90s rock, or like Kurt Cobain, that kind of indie rock stuff. But it's really well done. And so I play with my kids. When we get together for Christmas or Thanksgiving or stuff, we yank out the guitars and pianos.
When you came in, you asked about Guap Dad. You said you have another son that listens to a lot of hip hop.
Yeah, he's 17. He listens to everybody, X, and and who's his new jam? He's got some. He listens to everybody. He's like an encyclopedia on rappers. He can tell you everything.
Oh, wow.
He tells me shit that I don't even want to know.
Come on, Don. I know you're a hip hop head. Who's your favorite rapper? Man?
Well, I'm a big fan of Travis Scott right now.
Wow.
Nice.
Damn, you
That was a
aim
nice
for
way
the
to
top
go.
right there.
Well, he's putting it down, man.
Yeah.
So, and there's a few other people that I like a lot, but I like bits and pieces of the music. I like bits and pieces of Drake. I like bits and pieces of I love Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, you
he
named
picked
Travis Scott, Drake, Kendrick Lamar.
All right, good.
Don.
Your son is doing you right, Dad.
Yeah, he did. He smartened me up pretty good. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I got my crib sheet right here. Okay. Yeah, Dad, write this on your wrist.
Yo, Don, are you discovering these naturally, or are you discovering this from your son? Like, how are you discovering these artists?
Oh no, look, my son is a basketball player. He's 6'5".
Yeah.
And he's a beautiful player. I mean, he's a beautiful player. And so we drive. He plays down in L.A. in the hood. And so we take on these long drives, and he starts playing music. And he says, "Okay, listen to this. Now here's the story on this. He grew up on 4th Street, and that's why his records are called 4th Street." I mean, man, if I tried real hard, I could probably really blow you away.
Well, I find it interesting. Awesome. You've had so much success, but every actor who has come on this show has spoken about the valleys as well as the peaks. Did you hit any valleys once after Miami Vice?
Shit, I thought I was creating them for a while.
Really? You thought you was
Valleys and peaks.
Yeah.
You know, the life of an artist it's a beautiful thing, but it's not for the squeamish.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. You know, I'm not really qualified for anything else, and it was a bliss that I felt early on in my life, and I just followed it. And it's been good and it's been challenging, but all in all, I'd say that I've been pretty blessed.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Don Jonson is here. He got the new film that's called Knives Out. It's in theaters November the 27th. I'm a big fan of Watchmen.
Oh man, thank you.
With Regina King and
Come
Crazy.
all these amazing
That woman knows
actors
what
are-
she's doing.
kidding me? Yeah, man.
And you know, once in a while, you run across, as an actor, you run across somebody that you have a natural chemistry with, and then when you put the characters together and you start riffing and stuff like that, you feel this. You feel what you normally do. You feel it elevate a little bit. You know, kind of get some air under its wings and stuff, and that's the way I felt with Regina, working with Regina.
Wow.
I've been really lucky because I've been working with some wonderful people in this new movie, Knives Out. I'm working with Daniel Craig. Jamie Lee Curtis plays my wife.
Wow.
And we just fell into those roles so easily because she started bossing me around and I started listening. So,
you know what to do, Don.
yeah. And Tony Collette and Michael Shannon, the great Michael Shannon. I love him.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, Captain America. He plays my son.
He's a little asshole.
Captain American. Yeah, I don't know what that
Plummer.
means. Yeah.
Ransom.
Ransom. But he does a good job at it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you won't be able to figure out who done it in this in Knives Out. It is such a treat and so funny. And the cool thing about it is you can take your mama, you can take your grandma, you can take everybody to see this movie and they're going to have a good time.
Nice.
Don Jonson I keep saying that because it feels great to
crazy.
say it. Don,
Bless your heart.
Don Jonson on Sway in the morning.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, John, can you say that? Don Jonson on Sway in the morning.
Can I?
Yeah, say that.
Hell, what's this? This is Don Jonson on Sway in the morning.
We got that? All right. All right, cool. All right, DB. Yeah.
I went to the screening last night, and first of all, it started with Ryan Johnson made a declaration to all the audience and was like, please do not spoil the movie, which is crazy that you even have to do that nowadays, but with social media, you know, that's why I have to be careful about what I say and what I liked about the film. But the thing about it is like, obviously people are going to say, oh, it's like Clue or it's like Murder on the Orient Express, any type of murder mystery movie, and Ryan put in the gags of Clue like in the script and stuff, so it's sort of like we're gonna make fun of it anyway before you get a chance to make a comparison, which I thought was brilliant. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
but you're right.
Yeah.
He's a genius. That script was bulletproof when we got it, and not even we could fuck it up. I mean, it was so well written and constructed that the characters were just beautifully drawn, and you just basically had to show up and, you know, not bump into the furniture and say the lines right.
Now with comic movies, I know that they're very particular. They're very like stone clad with the scripts not getting out because they don't want to leak anything. Now with something like this, did they try to keep you from all figuring out or knowing what the end result was going to be?
No. In fact, you know, the funny thing is that we all got this. This happened so fast. We all got the script, and we didn't do a table read. We didn't do any rehearsals. We showed up in Boston, and I was up in the first day of work, and it was actually the opening scene of the movie, and Jamie Lee and I and Ana de Armas, we showed up. And, okay, kind of feel you here and feel you. How's that feel? That feels pretty good to me. All right, let's go.
And just jump
And
into
boom, we're in it.
No table reads?
No table read, no nothing, brother.
Wow.
That's how you prefer it? At this
No,
stage?
I would prefer. I would prefer 6 months of rehearsal, but that ain't gonna happen.
Wow. Okay. Damn,
Yeah.
that's you're Don Jonson though. They had total faith in you. All right.
Well, I'm wondering, of all the years that you've been in the industry, have you ever experienced ageism? A lot of women have said that before when you start having decades within the game.
You know, I don't know whether or not it's my attitude or what it is, but I don't play it. So it ain't real as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm still blessed to be really healthy and flexible, and I feel the same as I did when I was 16, just wild as the West Texas wind and unruly.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know, and I'm flexible and healthy, and you know, I got it going on.
Still got the looks.
We said I'm popping. I got it going on.
That's amazing.
Amen.
How did you? I mean, you were at one point. I'm sure you probably got people's sexiest man alive. You didn't get that?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't have to bring it up, but I got it.
How did you, with all that attention, you know, I mean, how did you navigate through all that at one point when you weren't married and you were single and you had a chance to mingle and be with Sybil Shepherd or Sybil Shepherd?
Somebody been talking to you. maybe we should have had a pre-interview.
Table read. That's what had a table read.
just to protect the innocent. Me.
But you know, I'm just fast. Like that's amazing. You know that you.
Me too, man. I'm shocked. I'm shocked because it's not. You know, there's no roadmap for this. You know,
Okay.
you kind of, and when it gets like a white hot thing on it, like Miami Vice did, and the craziness that went on during those times. My God. If I ever do write a book, and I'm not sure that I'm going to write the book, because there's too many people still alive that
not enough pages in that book.
that might not be alive after they read it.
Okay.
But it was an amazing time, and you know a lot of those things that you. I was talking to somebody else the other day who had similar experiences, and I said, when you're in it, you know, people always say, that must have been an incredible time. And it was an incredible time, and I enjoyed what I could enjoy of it, but you're so in it. You're so focused in it that you can't really enjoy the what everybody else is seeing and what everybody else is discovering, because you're creating it. You're creating that thing. And so I was just focused on keeping my head down, doing the work, and trying to do the best work I could and making the best decisions that I could make given what I had to do at the moment, you know.
Okay. That's a great answer, Don Jonson. I like that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll be remiss if I didn't bring up that gentleman sitting behind DB right here, Spencer right here. He works in our talent department. I'm sure he's an executive or something because he's so valuable. Director. He's so
I hope he's not your boss.
No, well, I don't. God is my boss.
I like that, brother. I'm feeling you on that.
That's my only boss. He's one of the best in the business. He has built the best relationships at what he does. I love working with this man. He has never done what he's about to do today. He brought me pictures of himself dressed up as you.
So
come on.
Basically, as a kid in Jersey, at 15 years old, trying to be cool, trying to find a way to be cool, like DB, parents somehow let me watch Miami Vice, and your character was, in my mind, the way to be cool. I went out and got the white suit. I got the white Capizios. I wore it to the prom. I wore it to a trip to Atlantic City.
Wow.
I would go and get a haircut and bring my 45 of Heartbeat, have the girl put it in the window, say I want this.
Wow.
And that was it.
Oh my God.
You look really cool though.
I worked on
Check this out, man. This is legit.
I worked on the
legit, right?
stubble.
That's legit.
So I share DB's sentiment. It's great to have you here.
Well,
it's
thank you
really
so
great.
much,
But this
man.
was everything.
Now, let's just say you have exceedingly fine taste.
Thank you. I think so.
Todd is so wild.
He's the best.
He is. You got it. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
God bless you, man.
Man, God bless you. Don Jonson, ladies and gentlemen. Man, thank you for coming through this morning.
Oh, bless your
Thank
heart
you,
for
man.
having me. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you for coming to Sirius XM.
Thank you, Sway. I appreciate
Absolutely,
you.
man. Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. Knives Out is in theaters November 27th.
DB.